Welcome, everyone, to the Business Spotlight, the podcast where we shine a light on the incredible entrepreneurs and business leaders in our community. I'm your host, Craig Whipperman with Music City Action Coach, and today we're excited to introduce you to someone who is blazing a trail in financial consulting right here in Nashville. Our guest today is Craig Cook, founder and CEO of Equitas Strategic Partners. We'll dive into Craig's background, explore the challenges he's faced, and the successes he's celebrated. Whether you're a fellow entrepreneur, an aspiring business owner, or simply someone who loves to support local businesses, this conversation is sure to inspire and inform. So without further ado, let's welcome Craig to the podcast. Craig, how you doing today?
Doing well. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate the opportunity.
Sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to our chat here. Take a minute and kick us off and tell us a little bit about yourself and your business and maybe, generally how you arrived where you're at.
Sure. So I am almost a native of Nashville. I've been here quite a while. Have originally came from Independence, Missouri. Grew up there, born and raised, and then came to Nashville to attend Belmont University. I was actually Belmont College at the time when I started, and graduated and just stayed here. Started a bookkeeping service. So this is technically my third entrepreneurial stint. Started out of college with a bookkeeping service, did that for a dozen years or so, transitioned into corporate here in Nashville, worked with 5 or 6 different corporations, most of which were public, and then transitioned into a consulting role about 6 years ago, and then January 1st of 24 started Equitas, and been going full bore ever since. We specialize in really anything on the accounting, finance, strategy side, whether it's your basic bookkeeping accounting that's needed, your advanced accounting, which is in your month-end close, analytics, KPI calculations, things like that, to the strategy side where you're looking at long-term growth, long-term planning for your company, fractional CFO, fractional or interim, and any of those spaces really is what we specialize in. And we've got a team of 7 behind us right now, and I guess 8 including myself. And again, we handle pretty much anything in the accounting and finance space that you can think of. We can tackle it and execute it for you.
Nice. And so you launched that in 2024. So are you a year old yet?
We are 15 months, and as of today, 7 days. So
Oh, wow. Congrats.
If anything, I'm precise, I guess, if you could say.
It might be some of that accounting.
Well, that's what my wife says. So.
That's funny. So what'd you study in Belmont? Accounting? Was it?
Strictly accounting, yeah. I usually were you in music business? No, never, didn't go that route. Liked music, played piano, took piano lessons for 15 years or so, up through college, and was decent, but knew the music industry was too risky to put all my eggs in that basket for a career. So even on the business side, I found out later on that's even difficult to hold on to for a career. So was just really in the accounting and business and finance, and all of those things always interested me. Stock market always interested me, even as a kid. So yeah, definitely just learning as much as I can on that side, and how it's turned into starting now 3 different businesses, and hoping to make as many. Got 2 going right now, and looking to make them as successful as possible. So
Awesome. So what's the other business going that you have?
it's similar. So a buddy of mine, Wendell Moon, and we started a hospitality centric finance and marketing company called Huzzah Hospitality. And specifically, I would handle the finances and accounting. He would handle the marketing and just helping hospitality spaces, bars, restaurants, distilleries, breweries, places that we would like to frequent to really make them as successful as possible. So,
Okay, cool. So how long have you been in partnership doing that?
we started that in October of last year. So just not too long.
Yeah. So right out of school, did I hear you correctly? You started a bookkeeping business?
I did. Cook Bookkeeping Services was established in December of 1992.
Wow.
And that went strong full time until about a little after 9/11. Was part time until, probably 2009, 2010, something like that.
Mhm.
Had a few remaining clients that I did work for, and then completely shuttered it around 2009, 2010, and focused solely on my corporate job, and was able to move forward with that. So yeah.
Yeah. So you did both the bookkeeping and held a corporate job at the same time for.
Yeah, I had a couple of clients and was able to handle both at the time. Went into, even though I was 10, 12 years into my career, had to start at the bottom of corporate and worked the staff accountant jobs and worked my way up into corporate accounting manager, and did a lot of assistant controller type duties just without the title. Things were passed down to me to take care of, and then pushed up the ladder. But yeah, did a lot of great work and learned a lot. And I went into it thinking I knew everything, as a young cocky kid usually does, and so I was quickly assuaged of that thought process, and learned how corporate worked, which was good. I was telling somebody several months ago kind of my whole story like I'm doing now, and as I went through everything from starting the bookkeeping service to corporate to consulting, and the different things even that I did within the consulting side, how all of that lifetime of experience in that career path prepared me for what I'm doing now with Equitas. From the bookkeeping side to dealing with clients to how to do the accounting within your own business, and billing, and then knowing the big corporate side and how you can integrate those processes into small businesses and really make them streamline and professional and top notch on the accounting side, to the business development side of when I did my other one, I kind of fell into all the clients all at once within a 7-8 month period, and I was full up 40 hours, 50 hours a week, without even really trying. This was different when I started Equitas. I started fresh. I had no clients on the front end, and had to get out there and work my network, which through the original consulting gig, I transitioned mostly to business development by the end of that 4.5 year term, and built a pretty good network here in Nashville, and was able to take care of those network. Had a network to build on, and reach out to from day one, and it was really good. It was really got us sustained, and within the first 45 days, I think, so something like that, 45, 50 days, we had our first client, and just built from there. And so we had a great first year, and second year has already gotten off to a great start. We've almost gotten to halfway to the number of clients we signed last year, and my goal is to get that done by the end of April. So 4 months in, we'll be halfway to where we were all of last year. So
Yeah.
really excited about the opportunities we're getting, the introductions I'm getting, both to just network, connections, clients, consultants. Just daily, I'm getting new introductions pretty much every day. So it's great. And that's just
So
a testament to my network and the people that are in it, and how considerate they are, and forthcoming they are. And I always say they throw out their Rolodex on the table and say, take what you need. Nowadays, most people don't know what a Rolodex is. So, but I remember them. So
yeah, I'm here. I'm with you. So the majority of your marketing really is just word of mouth and networking, as I hear it.
it is for right now. Everything that I've gotten, client and consultant wise, with the exception of two people, have come from my network, by introductions that they've made and sent to me. So yeah, super humbling and grateful for sure, of the way that I've been able to build Equa. Not what I've done, but it's just the people that I'm connected with and how good they are, and forthcoming that they are to me to provide those introductions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, starting to get to the point where maybe some marketing plans and some marketing campaigns might be something we look into. That's still something I'm investigating, but talk to some people who've been in this game a little bit longer than me, and what they've done and how they've done it. So trying to find the timing, and I've got all my consultants are 1099. Some of them have full-time jobs, so I don't even have with 7 people, I don't have 280 hours a week available to me. So
Mm-hmm.
if I go out and do some big marketing campaign and I get even 10 clients, can I service them all and service them all the way I need to and want to? That's a question. So still
Yeah.
trying to figure all that out and balance that out.
Well, I mean, that is the common question, and anybody going through a growth phase like you are has to figure out how to balance, right?
Yep.
Because to your point, you don't want to take them on if you don't have the capacity to do it and do it properly. But at the same time,
Exactly.
you don't want to hire have a bunch of staff on hand that is ready to do it, and you can't keep them fed. So it's
Yep.
a
Yep.
big time balancing act. But so where are most of your clients? Are they here in the Nashville area, Middle Tennessee, or?
Yeah, most of them are. But I've been, again, through the introductions, I've got a client in New York City. I've got a client in Philadelphia. I've got a client in Vegas. I've got 2 in Kentucky. I've got 1 or 2 in Florida, 1 in Chattanooga area. So they're a little bit everywhere, and same with industry, just a little bit of everything. But most of them are here in Nashville.
Mhm. And what does an engagement look like with you as you interact with prospect or you onboard a client?
Mm-hmm.
What's the process look like?
Sure. So usually we will, again, it depends on at what level they're looking. If it's a bookkeeping engagement, then we'll go in, and I put my bookkeeping team on it, and they go in and review the transactions, and just kind of give me an idea of how many hours per week, per month that it would take to complete that work from their experience, which is vast, 50 plus years of experience with this, with my bookkeeping team, and very self-sufficient, very efficient as well. So anybody that quotes me what their current bookkeeper is doing, I can almost guarantee I can definitely match it, if not beat it, in the number of hours that it takes to complete that work. And like I said, just I have no doubts or qualms to throw whatever at them on the bookkeeping side for them to be able to tackle it and take care of it, and I don't have to babysit them. So I'm very grateful for that. Anything higher than that, usually it's definitely sitting with the owner, sitting with the decision maker, to get a good feel for exactly what they're looking for out of the engagement. Is it I just need someone to button up my month end process? Is it I have no idea what my financial statements are telling me? Those are the instances where we'll provide the month-end close process, and then really sit with them and go through the financials and do the trend analysis, do the KPI, do the whatever analytics that they're wanting to see that's important to them. And maybe they don't even know, bringing some of those analytics to light, to give them, what that information that they need. And anytime we get a strategic fractional CFO type of opportunity, I usually start at the bookkeeping side, because obviously garbage in, garbage out. If I don't have good numbers to work with, I can't use that to give you any sense of forward-looking projections.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming one of your questions is going to be, what's my ideal client? Those are my ideal clients, where we come in and basically we are the financial department, we are the accounting department, where my team can come in and provide the bookkeeping, make sure it's clean, make sure it's accurate, make sure it's consistent. My advanced accounting team can come in and do the month-end close. My CFO team can provide modeling, any financial quarterback need that they would have, suit in the room, as I call it, if they're really wanting to talk to bankers, investors, things like that. Somebody who can speak that language that most business owners can't, or don't feel comfortable doing anyway. Maybe they can, but they're not. That's not their wheelhouse for sure. So, those are the ideal clients. Usually that falls into the 25 to 50 million plus range. But we've got startups that are just barely past pre-revenue. They've gotten their first customers. I've had clients that are billion-dollar public companies. So really any size company we can work with, but that sweet spot's about $1 million to $50 million.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. $1 million to $50 million. That covers a pretty big spread there, I guess.
It does. But usually that million is where business owners, they're like, okay, wow, I've reached my first million. And now they sit back and they're like, okay, what do I do now? Mm-hmm. Do I maintain or do I grow? And if I grow, can I really handle it? A lot of times CEOs, founders will have to take a step back and understand that I'm not qualified. I'm not set up to take my business to that 2 million, 10 million, 100 million level. So they have to bring people in, and they can still have management decision and oversight of the company, but day-to-day operations, they need someone with more experience, more insight than that their professional life has, right? And I fully expect that to happen to me too. I can take this to a certain point. At a certain point, I don't want to be as involved anymore. I really need someone to come in and take it to that next level. And B, again, this is kind of my retirement plan. So I'm looking at, taking a step back at some point and watching where it can go. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. But that 1 to 50 million range is kind of a bookend for sure. The million is, maybe they're doing the books, their wife is doing the books. Aunt Margaret, as I say, is doing the books, and it's outgrown them, or they just don't want to do it anymore. They're tired of it's gotten so big and so time consuming that they are ready to let it go. And then on that 50 million side, they probably have the basics down. Their month-end close, they may have a process, but it's probably just kind of haphazardly put together. There's nothing of real substance. That they've got a good checklist, a month-end checklist, a good month-end process of review, sitting with the owner, really getting visibility, transparency in their financial statements. And then definitely on the strategy side, maybe they've got a business coach or something like that they're using, but no one that's ingrained in their business and in the financial statements to really provide them that deep insight into forecasting for the future. So
Yeah. And so I would imagine, like you suggested there, a small business owner who's reached 1 million realizes he has to change. And then, on the other end of the scale, on the other end of the spectrum there, you've got business owners and businesses that are in the, 40 or $50 million range. They're probably, I would imagine, different common problems amongst the two. So smaller,
Yes, definitely.
yeah, yeah,
But a lot of times they've got the same problems, just more zeros at the end.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's amazing sometimes to see, but we definitely can help out. Like I said, any of those instances, and it's sometimes it's too late, but you bring us in, we can usually right the ship and clean things up and get things to a point where you can start making progress moving forward. But
hmm,
never too early, for sure.
right. Uh, I hesitate to ask this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What's the most eye-popping thing you've seen in people's books? The most
Uh,
surprising thing.
the most surprising thing I've seen, I'll go two different ways here. The first one is that we got called in to a restaurant, and their CPA, their tax CPA, was responsible for doing their bookkeeping. And when they brought us in to take it over, uh, realized that they had not seen financial statements in something like 18 months. And that was because there were no transactions processed for that period of time.
Oh my gosh.
Um, so yeah, so coming in and getting all of that caught up, cleaned up, was a process that took I want to say maybe 90 days, something like that. But in addition to that, it was a multi-store restaurant. We were able to come in and provide consolidated financial statements. They had developed a distribution center in the meantime, and obviously their corporate overhead costs. So we had combined all of the stores, the distribution center, the corporate, and made a consolidated financial statement, both uh, uh, P&L and balance sheet, and really gave them some good insight as to what was going on, not only per store, but overall,
Mhm.
and really was able to take them to the next level. The second one was it was a smaller company, and the person who was doing the accounting was not a trained bookkeeper or accountant. It was just someone who thought, oh well, it's QuickBooks. I'll take some online courses and be able to figure it out. And when they either would forget how they coded certain transactions, or it was a new instance of a transaction and they would have to create a new account, and they would do this several times. All of the accounts were listed as like other current asset, even though it was an expense, may have been income, whatever it was. But because the category, when you set up a new account, the default was other current asset, they didn't change that. So everything was other current. So everything was on the balance sheet, and most of the things that were new or they'd forgotten how to code were stuck on the balance sheet when they should have been in the P&L. So,
Yeah,
it's those types of things that, it's not anybody's fault other than they just didn't know,
yeah,
you know, and
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. And, but that's, filling that gap. And like I said, even instances where you've got a bookkeeper maybe been with you since the beginning,
mhm,
um, yes, they know the ins and outs of that business, but there's other facets of accounting and even bookkeeping that they're missing, and just having that high level of experience in there, looking at it, if not weekly, daily,
mhm,
um, at those transactions, and making sure everything is in there accurately and timely is so important to
mhm.
running a business, especially a small business, when every dollar counts.
Right. So there's a pretty much, uh, I don't know. I was going to say industry wide. It's like business wide. It's like country. Everybody knows there's a shortage of accountants out
Yes.
there. And how is that affecting, or is it affecting you and your business now?
maybe it is, but I haven't seen that it is, because the type of people that I'm bringing onto my team are those that are highly experienced, and they're in one of two or three different boats.
Mm-hmm.
They are either doing consulting on their own, or maybe with some other groups that doesn't require exclusive. So it's really just whoever can give them work, and that's how they're getting an income. There are some that are, maybe on the early retirement. They've gotten paid out of a previous employer. They got a great severance package. They don't really need the work, but they want to stay busy. So they want 10 to 25 hours a week type of thing. They don't want to be full time. They definitely don't want to be um, working for the man, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one is those that just, they don't work, but they have the experience and they want to stay busy. A lot of it is kind of retired, or taking a break from work life, to be a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home parent. Again, they want 10 to 15, 20 hours a week. Those are perfect consultants for me. I don't have the client base, or work to give anyone 40 hours, much less a team 40 hours each.
Mm-hmm.
But we're getting there, and I know at some point that's going to happen. But for right now, being able to piecemeal the different levels, bookkeeping, advanced controller work, and CFO work between my team has worked out really well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I was out there and all of a sudden I was getting 100 new clients and I knew I needed to hire 5 new accountants, yes, I would be affected by that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't have that need right now, so luckily I don't have that issue.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier the kind of tightrope that you're walking, balancing between, getting work and having having staff on hand to be able to process or perform the work.
Mm-hmm.
What is that your biggest challenge right now, or what is the biggest hurdle or challenge you see in the next 6 months for your business?
Um, yeah, I think that would probably be as high on the list as possible, outside of just always, wanting to expand, wanting to grow, wanting to get more clients. As I one off a new client here and there, we can handle, if, like I said, if I was to get 5, 10, 20 new clients within a 2-week span, could we handle it? Probably. With people that I have on the bench that I could pull off and sign to Equitas. But with the current staff that I have now, it would be challenging,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. But I think we can handle it. And they, like I said, I love my team. I've got a great team, and wouldn't trade them for the world. But could always use more consultants that are out there that are looking to get into it. Because my requirements are a little unique. I'm not just taking anybody. I want someone with minimum 10 years experience. I want someone who's been in the trenches, done the work, done the entries, understand why they did the entries. Those are even more fewer and far between. But when I find one, what I'm doing tends to fit with what they're looking
Mm-hmm.
for. They're not necessarily looking for full time. They want the flexibility of consulting. They want the change of pace with consulting versus being an employee. They want the change of scenery.
Mm-hmm.
They get to work in different industries that maybe in that specific industry they would have a hard time getting a full-time job,
Mm-hmm.
but they can do the fractional work because 90% of accounting is accounting. You don't really have to have that industry specific experience for a lot of these things,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the smaller mid-sized companies. You don't
Right.
necessarily have to have that. So being able to take care of those clients and get that additional experience in these industries that they may not have direct experience in, that was what was attracting to me, was that I could,
Mm-hmm.
I had a pretty diverse industry experience in my resume, but there were pieces that weren't on my resume. I filled in a lot of those blanks since
Mhm.
starting consulting 6 years ago. So it's been for me personally, it's been a great opportunity and great enhancement to my resume. Um, and I think, other people like me see that advantage as well. So,
Mhm. And tell me what your biggest learning has been since you've started this company.
um, biggest learning, goodness. Um, I think balancing life a little bit. Um, Starting a business, wanting it to grow, really, and having it grow the way it has, and the way I network, which is a little crazy sometimes, and finding the time to spend time with my boys, spend time with my wife, spend time with her girls, and be that well-rounded person and not just having my business run me, but to run my business, is the thing that I've learned the most, and I, I feel like I figured it out pretty quick. Um, in that, I just need to take a step back. I need to take a break. I need to, you know, turn the computer off for the weekend and just focus on the family, focus on time at home, um, and try to be as present as possible in every way, both personally and professionally. I'd say I don't ever check my email on the weekends or do some things on the weekends, but I try to keep it at a minimum as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, being present and is a challenge, I think, in any profession, anything you do. Being present, I've heard it said before, be where your feet are.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's pretty appropriate. And
I like that.
it takes mental discipline to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody to like kind of nudge you, to get your attention. Hey, let's be where we're at right now. So,
Yep. Yep.
but anyway, so well, Craig, I've enjoyed the chat here and getting to learn about you and getting to learn about your business and what you got going on.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've you're ready to take off here.
We are excited to see where things are going to go, and I definitely appreciate the opportunity to talk and talk to your listeners, and hope to hear from several of them moving forward for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I look forward to it. We'll
All
stay in
right.
touch, Craig.
Thanks a lot, Craig. Appreciate your time.